What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and as Hollywood continues down this path and accelerates towards their own self-destruction, people are speaking up and fighting back. They have woken up to what is going on in Hollywood, that it is indeed an echo chamber where you cannot have another opinion that goes against the narrative or you will be ostracized. You will be fired in the same way we saw it happen to Gina Carano when Disney and Lucasfilm fired her for her political opinion. And more people are speaking up each and every day, and today I wanted to go over another one of those people. Now, this is Samaire Armstrong. Now, Samaire is someone who I have been following for quite a while over on Instagram. She has been speaking out for a long time, but this big interview with PragerU has really started blowing up and showing people exactly what is going on from her perspective in Hollywood. Samaire Armstrong tears apart modern Hollywood, calls them out for racism. This is over on Bounding Into Comics. Shout out John F. Trent. Actress Samaire Armstrong, known for her roles as Anna Stern in The OC, Emily in Entourage, and Elaine Richards in Resurrection, tore apart modern Hollywood in a recent interview. She sat down with PragerU as part of their Stories of Us segment, where she described how modern Hollywood is racist. And, you know, it's interesting because this follows just a few days after this interview. This interview that they also covered on Bounding, Siaka Masakwe revealed Hollywood is not only racist, but discriminates against people on the right. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I want you guys to hear, in Samaire's own words, what her experience has been, why she feels that way, and how she eventually woke up to this. Because I think it's really interesting. I will leave the link to this video in the pinned comment, or it's not in the pinned comment, in the description below. I highly recommend everyone go watch it. It's only about 8 minutes and 30 seconds, but we're going to play some parts that I thought were really interesting because I think you should hear it from her herself. Here we go.
Over the last 6 years, I've heard nonstop, they're not looking for white. It's going to diverse. They liked you, but you're white. And, you know, I kept that to myself in silence because on the one hand, it's like, hooray, like, great, diversity is finally here. Oscars were so white for decades, you know? But the pendulum has swung so far. I think nowadays it's different for the sake of being different because it's politically correct. You know, like, we're gonna fit this transgender character in here now that we're PC. Natural organic stories stopped being told, and you had to make a checklist of what was acceptable. You know, all the nuances of art disappeared, and shouldn't it be about talent? Shouldn't it be about merit or capability or effective storytelling or emotional presence? You gotta wonder, what's the point of acting school and putting this time into developing the craft if that doesn't matter anymore?
And I think that's one of the things that so many of us have said for so long, right? That it's constantly about finding someone to check off a checklist. Oh, well, we need a gay character in this. Definitely, we need a black character. We need a transgender character. All of these things, instead of just focusing on telling a story and getting the people that are best equipped to help you tell that story. And it's very interesting what she said about, you know, them not looking for white people anymore. Because, again, like I told you in this interview, Siaka Masakwe, I want to make sure I pronounce his name right. I think that's how you say it. But he points out how Hollywood is indeed racist. Listen to this. Masakwe then points to Jordan Peele and Seth Rogen. You have people like Jordan Peele saying, I'm not interested in telling white stories. I don't know what that means. You have Seth Rogen saying, I'm not going to hire white people anymore. All these people that made their money already. He continued, all these people that did in that same system they are screaming is super racist and super turned off, now they're doing the exact thing and stating it. They will say some of the most disgusting things around me, and I know they're only comfortable with it because I'm a black guy. I know it. Talking about a lot of this kind of anti-white rhetoric that is going on in Hollywood right now. Again, another great video that I definitely think you should watch if you have an opportunity. But we will let Samaire continue on.
We aren't able to be authentic. We're not allowed to question anything or converse about things. We're literally forced to be silenced. If you don't emulate what they expect you to. You are a racist, a bigot, you have privilege so you'll never understand. We're talking about this authoritarian dictatorship of how things should operate. And we're existing within that in Hollywood. It's like these quotas need to be met, and that's a story. That's acceptable. We can't be canceled. But the reality is, like, you're cutting people off left and right, and there is no actual life and natural creation in this story at all. Like, what are we feeding our society when we're creating narratives like this? But
and I think, like, listen to what she's saying and how similar it sounds to Gina Carano, right? You have to follow this narrative. You cannot step out of line. You have to only talk about these things, or you will be ostracized. You will be canceled if that happens. And it is something I think we're going to be seeing more of, because we know that Hollywood is only going more that way. The press is only continuing for identity politics, for this leftist echo chamber there right now. So I think you're going to see more people who have been existing there for a long time. Maybe they've finally woken up. Maybe it's just finally become enough that are going to speak out, like Gina did, like Samaire is doing, like we saw from Siaka earlier. I think this could be something big that continues on. And one thing that happened was she finally had enough. She finally spoke out, was finally tired of pretending that she was living in this environment that was not her, that didn't make any sense, for fear of being canceled, for fear of speaking out against something that she definitely thought was wrong. And she finally made an Instagram video, and this is her talking about when that happened.
Regret through all of this is not having done it sooner. The night that I came out and put a video up, that evening, it was all the way in the UK, and it immediately went around like a wildfire on the internet and was on every sort of like rag mag platform, Perez Hilton and every other one, saying that I was, you know, a white, out of touch, privilege, has been, whatever, all these things that I knew were going to be coming at me. Interestingly, my inbox was filled from messages of agents thanking me for speaking out, and that they could never do that, and that they wish they could. I think that we don't have to agree politically, but I believe truly that we should all be able to agree upon coexisting, whether you're on the left, whether you're on the right, and not to have to fear not having a job because of a difference in political beliefs.
That's truly where we are right now in this country, in this world, and specifically in Hollywood. That if you have the quote-unquote wrong political belief, you will be fired. You will be ostracized. You will never work again. And I think it's also interesting that, similar to Gina, who said she had a lot of people reach out that didn't feel like they could speak, that they were ready to speak out. That's the same thing that Samaire had. When she spoke out, a lot of people in the industry said, hey, we kind of feel that way too, but that's not something we could ever see ourselves doing. But more and more people that come out like this, it will inspire others to come out and speak out. Whether this is going to be just a Hollywood exodus, or whether people are actually going to change Hollywood from the inside, that's something that's yet to be seen. But it is definitely coming. At this point, I don't know how you can look at it and say that it's something that won't happen. I think it will happen. Whether it's a year, whether it's 2, whether it's 3, something has to change, because the dam is breaking and people are leaving Hollywood. And this is the last thing she said, which I think is pretty much where we're at this point. I'll let you listen.
My advice to those in Hollywood who are silent right now, we have to break the silence before it's too late.
And I think that's pretty true. I hope that this, and I hope this story of Siaka as well, Gina's story, all these people, I do hope that it inspires more people to speak out, because it shouldn't matter what your political views are when it comes to having a job. But that is where we're at right now as a society, especially in this country and especially in Hollywood. But I really do want to get you guys' thoughts on this. I do recommend you watch the entire video, and she does have a Twitter, she does have an Instagram. Highly recommend you follow her as well. But what do you think about Samaire Armstrong speaking out with PragerU, doing this interview of her experience? I want to hear from you in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.